Welcome inside the locker room.
Are you not sitting? Lagos, you are welcome. If you just joined us, well, you're just in time. It's time for the locker room on Smooth 98.1. My name is Kayode, along with Ayo Mairo Ese. We've got, the enigmatic Tega Supreme in the studio. Good morning, Tega.
Ooh, you started putting adjectives for my name.
What can I do now? What can
Hey,
we do?
enigmatic, feisty. Today is the day.
Lagos, to be a part of our conversation, it's really simple. You can reach out to us on social media as always. We are at Smooth981 FM. Please use the hashtag LockerRoom981 to be a part of the conversation. Also, feel free to join us on WhatsApp as well. The number to do that is 0809 444 0981. I'll say that again. It's 0809 444 0981. So let's kickstart the show, shall we? Let's talk about or basketball. So Chris Paul had a message for MVP voters on Tuesday night. The Houston Rockets 108-94 loss to Milwaukee Bucks shouldn't matter when the ballots are cast. Now James went on a historic run. He further says, "You know what I mean?" And bunch of quotes basically. But what does this loss mean?
Basically, the MVP, the race for MVP is always an important one. Who had the best season? And so this year, the two names in the hat, um, Giannis Antetokounmpo and James Harden. And yesterday, both teams faced each other. So I mean, if you ask me, I'd say Harden all day, every day. But Giannis has had an incredible season too. So you now get a game where both of them are playing against each other. Like, okay, show us who has the best season. Milwaukee Bucks won. So Giannis' team won. Now that's not to say that because his team won. So Chris Paul is trying to say because Giannis' team won doesn't necessarily mean that Giannis is a better should win the MVP at the end of the day. Giannis was also saying that the person that won should win the MVP, but
So what is he saying?
Giannis had a poor night. Giannis had 19 points and 6 rebounds. It was an average night. Same thing with James Harden. He had 23 points, not his usual 30-point game or sometimes crazy games that he drops every single ball in the basket. But what it is Chris Paul is just saying, look, I know we lost, but that doesn't mean that James Harden shouldn't win MVP. And I totally agree. I think James Harden should take the MVP of the regular season back to back. Yes, Janice, you did well. Your team won, but that doesn't guarantee you should win. And I feel Chris Paul's bitterness because in Chris Paul's mind, he feels that he lost the 2008 MVP to Kobe Bryant because of that game where the Lakers beat the Clippers. No, darling. Kobe Bryant is not on your level. It didn't come down to that game. Yes, the balance came after that game, but it didn't come down to that game. Before you even, I mean, before you could think of anything, everybody like Kobe winning 2008. So in his mind, he thinks that what happened to him in 2008 against Kobe is what people may try to do for James Harden. No, darling. Kobe was better than you in 2008. Don't even be tripping.
All right. Okay, so don't trip. Kobe was better than you. All right, now moving away from basketball, we go on to football.
Yeah.
Under 23 captain Okechukwu praises teammates. Now, skipper of the under 23 team and Witherspoon midfielder Azubike Okechukwu has expressed deep feelings for his side after they thrashed their Libyan counterparts 4-0 on Monday evening. Now, we spoke about this match in the morning at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba, to book their place in the third and final round of the 2019 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Okechukwu said shortly after the crucial encounter, "We were not under pressure actually. Coming back home, we knew we were going to have the fans just like the 12th man in the team. We knew we were going to do better. We had enough time traveling from the first game. We came back and we trained with the players coming in. So basically, we're fine. And going forward, I think these crop of players are wonderful. We had several meetings before the game on our own, and then we had to do so. Going forward, we will be better than this."
Victory is sweet. You can brag after you won, but he was right. First of all, again, camera angle, Nasaba. We have to do something about that stadium. We have to build. No, we have to look for a place to rebuild for broadcast because the camera angles. Jehovah. Anyways, but the under 23 did look like they had a mountain to climb. 2 goals down against the Libyan side after the showing that the in the first leg, it didn't brewed so much confidence in people. But they came into the game, and I must confess that they did the job they needed to do, going out to get 4 goals. It was an amazing performance, if you ask me. But when you get to the competition itself, you don't have this kind of games to catch. You have to hit the ground running. And so yes, Nigeria did a good job coming back from 2 goals down and winning their own game at home by 4 goals to 0. Fantastic for them, congratulations. But that team needs to just be better.
But he says he thinks they're fantastic.
Is he not the one that's marking his own script? He wrote the exam, he marked the script. What do you think he's going to give himself? A+. And then he has the result to back it, 4-0. But what it is, I mean, you watch the team, and there's still a lot left to be desired. A lot of finishing. It looks like a very raw team. And so finishing touches need to be done. Communication from player to player, the way they control the ball, their basic technique, and the chances they create. There's a lot left to be desired. But we hope that during the competition in Africa, before they even get to the Olympics, if they do qualify, that they would have the time to be able to do that, brush up their play, and maybe qualify for the Olympics and then put up a better showing. But they've done the job now, so everybody's happy and everybody can brag. Will be better than before.
Let's talk about the Super Eagles. More important, let's talk about a new rising star that we might have. Onuachu strikes down Pharaohs of Egypt in Asaba. Now, towering above all the players on the pitch basically for Super Eagles, newcomer Paul Onuachu scored an 8-second international friendly between Nigeria and Egypt at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba, Delta State. And Onuachu made his debut as a sub when the Super Eagles beat Seychelles 3-1 in the African Cup of Nations qualifier last Friday, and raced on to pass from John Ogu. He outwitted Egyptian defender Mahmoud Trezeguet. He picked his spot and fired home from outside the box.
Yes. Now, the game literally started. Blast of the whistle, 1 pass, 2 touches, goal. Like, it has got to be the fastest Nigerian goal I've seen. It has. I can't remember anyone faster. But then again, I'm not young, so. But it was good to see. And when you start the game like that, when you start the game like that against an Egypt side, I expected to see more goals. But like I said, it's a friendly. The whole idea was not necessarily to win, but to see where your team was at. But it was beautiful to have that early goal that the camera angles did not let us enjoy very well. And then take on the game from there. So yeah, I see what Roy is doing. But I mean, really, when it comes down to the AFCON, do you think that Paul Onuachu's name is going to be
I was just going to ask
first
the same
on
question.
the list? No guarantees. But it's good to have all this players, because you never know what happens. And when a player like this has an opportunity to start a game, he did play in the other game where we won by 3-1 against Seychelles. But when they have the opportunity to start the game, I like to see players go for it, try to put their names or write their names on the minds of people. And so this was what he did. That his strike, the fact that it was the only goal in the match, actually has now put his name in people's lives. So anytime that you see his name, you recognize that, oh, that's the guy that scored. Same way Sunday scored and then disappeared. Hopefully this guy doesn't disappear. What did I say? Did I lie? Sunday scored winning goal for AFCON, then he disappeared. Did I lie? It's not shade now.
He won't disappear.
Hopefully we'll see
Paul will not
the
disappear.
Nations Cup.
He will keep his good form and then maybe make the team.
All right. Okay, let's take some comments before we go on a break. Locker Room 981 Chimobi Victor from Alaba International says, congrats to the under-23 for getting past this Libyan team, but credit must go to Victor Osimhen for that hat-trick. He just reminded me of Rashid Yekini. I saw that comparison a lot on Twitter during the match. People kept comparing him that he's lanky and then
because he's tall, he's lanky, and then the way he moves, fantastic. Trust me, fantastic guy. But please, Those
Are you saying that Yakini is better or Yakini
No,
is
I'm
more
saying
legend?
Yekini is Yekini and Osimhen is
She's
Osimhen.
Nice
Yeah.
one. All right. Sheriff Oluwale Kakimbi from Lagos Island says, Tega, that goal is the second fastest goal in international football ever.
Mm-hmm.
It could be possible.
See, I know I was old, but I knew it was the fastest. It was fast.
Lagos, let's go on a quick break. Don't forget to be a part of our conversation. When we get back, you can reach out to us on WhatsApp at 0809-444-0981. Also, your messages come to Twitter. We are at Smooth981FM with the hashtag LockerRoom981.
My name is Zainab Balogun, and you are listening to Smooth.
Zainab Balogun came here.
What?
I'm trying to imagine what she came here for.
Her mic sounds hollow. That's why I keep on raising it.
So it was really loud, and then it was hollow. This mic was on, so it was feeding off this mic
Okay.
as well. So I turned it off, and then it was the volumes were different. So
Okay.
sometimes it would be loud, and so I
then
just
low.
want to. So
Okay.
usually, what I told the rule of thumb was when it starts showing red,
Just take it down.
Yes, to take it down. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I was trying to. So my mic was also loud because remember we swapped.
Yes.
So my usually I'm the lowest voice. I can't believe that my voice is louder than somebody's voice. My voice is so low. So while Val is 4, I'm 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
I used to 6, so I don't know.
No, it changed. Remember there's a time during the meeting we complained that the microphones were levels were really low.
Okay.
So the engineer came and changed it. But now it's, I don't know, just play it by ear. Like sometimes it just goes up, and sometimes it's only rotor season that is
No,
constant.
we should just take it down
Minus
to the
4.
lowest.
So that's what happened during freshly pressed.
I left it at the highest.
Yeah,
At the lowest.
So when you came on, I was like, oh, hi,
Kayode now.
Kayode. So I now realized I had reduced it for rotos. My head is spinning now.
Yeah.
In a few minutes.
Your hair is so long. I didn't know. Me and you are not on the same level, I beg. I'm making
Oh,
my hair
thank you.
today.
Mm.
I can't be parading and be feeling myself.
I just want how to comb my hair. I was waiting for Sally.
And why can't you go there?
Because I hate it. It's too much work. I'm lazy. It's not me. That's nothing to do. The only thing I know how to do is watch sports. And maybe movies, yes.
I agree with
And maybe
that.
series, yeah. Everything else, I'm not even remotely interested in committing to any kind of relationship with it. I'm like Nick curious.
Are you ready?
Nikhil, yeah. I saw 2 minutes. 2 minutes has already gone like that.
Come on, baby.
So you bring us in.
Sorry, eh?
You bring us in. You bring us in.
Oh yeah. No, you can bring us in and I'll take the next story.
Okay.
So I'm taking the next story. Yeah, I did not check the names. I always check the names and ask Tega, which one is this name? Okay.
Oh, this is the guy. I was listening to you guys on Monday. So this is the guy that is chanting back at.
Nikhil.
He fought again to this day, but he has crashed out. He fought again yesterday. If there's no day, he doesn't give us drama. Tickets should come with free popcorn.
Okay. Lagos, you're welcome back. If you just joined us, you haven't missed too much, but you've missed quite a bit though. This is the Locker Room 981 on Smooth 98.1 with Tega, Ayo, and of course Kayode. To be a part of our conversation one more time, you know what to do. Just reach out to us on WhatsApp at 0809-444-0981.
We're also streaming live on YouTube, so you can actually watch all the action. And I dare say that our cameras are better than the one in Asaba.
Yep,
Yes, that they
definitely better.
All right, now we'll go to our next story here. Now, leaving football for a moment, we go into the world of tennis. Novak Djokovic and Kyle Edmund lose in 4th round. World number 1 Novak Djokovic suffered another surprise defeat as he was beaten by Roberto Bautista Agut in the Miami Open 4th round. Now, the Serb who went out in the 3rd round of Indian Wells last week was beaten 1-6, 7-5, 6-3 by the Spaniard. British number 1 Kyle Edmund earlier reacted angrily to noise from the crowd during his loss to American John Isner. Is he another Nikiris?
No, he's
Umpire
not.
Carlos Bernades ruled Edmund had lost the points as a result, with the Briton saying they kept shouting every point. I keep hearing it. Eisner served an ace on the next point to wrap up a 7-6, 7-5, 7-6, 7-3 win.
Yes, so that was, I'm going to start from the bottom to the top, and that was a very tricky game. Kyle Edmund, British, John Isner, American, and they're playing in America, so they know level every, and because it was such a close game, both guys were serving very well. Both guys are big hitters. Every point the Americans cheered, and so sometimes they were cheering, and the cheering was causing a distraction. And the umpire, I mean, there's only so much apart from carrying a cane and literally flogging some people, you know, or getting security to throw some people out. Some people will still heckle. And so
Can they not have like ushers who tell them to shush? Right?
you can say shush. It's not. Did you hold your mouth? That's my point. so sometimes the cheering went into the points. It's not like the people were too that unruly. So that particular point that Kyle was talking about, look, he would have lost it anyway. But the fact is, he had a reason to complain about it. And so he'd been, again, he felt on the wrong end. He was struggling against another fellow big server, and then the crowd, it seemed like he didn't have any family members because all the noise were coming from the Americans for the American. And then he's struggling, and then you don't expect him to complain. So he did complain to the umpire, but there's nothing Carlos could do. Game was won by journalists now. You can file a complaint later, but we know who won.
Can't you just be
So I think, yeah, it was a frustrating day for Kyle Edmund, but journalist clear winner, has been in good form, especially in America. I don't know what it is about those guys traveling out, but they play very well at home, and so, I mean, he won it fair and square. On the other hand, we now from journalists, now we go to another person that complained to the umpire, Nick Kyrgios. Again,
I love Nick Kyrgios. Let me just put it out there.
I was saying his match should be coming with popcorn, because this guy plays his game against Bonachorich and gets into a fight with the umpire, saying the umpire wasn't controlling the crowd very well, and then when he now in frustration mutters an obscenity for which he was given a penalty because he had already broken his racket, because he had already done some drama earlier on. Then the umpire is now giving him a penalty that the umpire has really tried. Didn't manage the match well, didn't do this, didn't do that, and he went on, and this umpire was very smart. He only answered questions that he was asked directly, and then he faced his front like a good man. Because if you get into it with Nick Kyrgios, you never know what your wife did yesterday. Nick Kyrgios will tell you. So just don't do it. So smart umpire, just try it as much as possible, and explain again to Nick Kyrgios over and over again that he's telling the crowd to be quiet, but sometimes the crowd would, I mean, because they're enjoying the game, because it was really a good match between Bonachorich and Nick Kyrgios. But Nick Kyrgios, as usual, distracts from it with all his drama. But he's out now, so we can watch tennis. We'll leave movies to another channel.
Following today's analysis, maybe let me not be too quick to say I'm such a big fan, because now he's bordering on being very.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's very
entertaining.
He's very talented, but you know, the unnecessary drama just takes from you. And Bonachorich is a fantastic player. It was always going to be a close one. And I did think Nick Kyrgios would edge it, but maybe the struggle with his knee and then some of the drama. But Bonachorich got the better hand, which leads me to another match that I don't know why people are surprised Batistuta beat Novak Djokovic, because Batistuta has beaten Novak Djokovic this year in January. In fact, it is the one match I was expecting an upset, because Batistuta is like a cockroach too. He plays like Novak Djokovic. The difference in Agut and Novak Djokovic is that Batistuta is not as consistent and not as high level as Novak Djokovic can be on his good days. But he's that kind of person that just never gives up. First set was a complete whitewash. It was short of a miracle that he managed to get on the board. It was 6-1. He lost the first set to Novak Djokovic. So it was looking like this is going to be an easy match for Djokovic. In an hour and a few minutes, he'll be out of here. Second set, this cockroach agreed to that. Batistuta returned everything, and Djokovic was getting frustrated. First of all, again, there's something about this Hard Rock Stadium when they moved into it. It's a bit slower than most hard courts. It's a bit it's slower than most hard courts, and it's not as windy. And then with the rains, there was a bit of humidity, so the ball is heavier. So there's a lot of struggles for people that don't hit the ball so hard, like Djokovic, who's main target is really angles and placement. So some players have struggled with the courts, but they can't complain too much because they're very excited about it. So you can tell from their play that they're struggling, but you can tell from the way they're looking that they can't talk because they're the ones that that stamped the approval. So it's a I mean, Djokovic is going to go back and think that, look, this I have failed in India and Wales, I failed here. Let me go back to the drawing board and see what I know. He doesn't do drawing board. That's for Nigeria. Let me go back and see how I can restructure and revamp, and he will get back. But for Batista Agut, this was the one upset I expected, and I've seen it. The second one is the one in Federer's game.
All right.
We wait to see.
So we have some comments here from YouTube. First of all, thank you to all those who are watching on YouTube. Benton Mark Akinkugbe says Tega is indeed as beautiful as her analysis. Seeing her for the first time via YouTube, and Benton, that little show she just did right there is exclusively for you. So if you'd like to see what Tega looks like, or you want to be a part, join her as if you're in the studio with us, you can follow us on YouTube or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Smooth 91 FM. Now we take some more comments from WhatsApp. Paul's goals is not only the fastest goal for Nigeria, it's the fastest goal in international football. The former record was 6 seconds. Paul's was 5 seconds, waiting for FIFA official recognition. So it's actually saying maybe not even the second, perhaps the first.
You know what? On this note, I will check and get back to you.
Okay. All right. Shall we take our?
Okay. So let's talk about a bit of sweet story for Juventus fans. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo does not think the injury which forced him out of Portugal's match against Serbia on Monday is overly serious. He said this to reporters, and he said he expects to return to action in 1 or 2 weeks. Ronaldo went off in the first half of the Euro 2020 qualifier with an apparent hamstring injury. The match ended 1-1. A quote here says, "I'll know more in 24 or 48 hours." This is what he told reporters.
Yes. So Cristiano Ronaldo again. Well, Portugal hasn't started the qualifiers well. They had a draw the first match. They had a draw the second match. But then again, isn't that how they won the Euros? So, exactly. They just kept drawing until the end. That was it. So I don't give up on Portugal in that manner. But for Cristiano Ronaldo, it's a hamstring, so muscle injury ideally should take longer. But Cristiano Ronaldo is that kind of player that pushes his body already. And so when you're able to work your body like that, sometimes it's easier for you to come back from injuries than for other people. So let's wait and see. Don't be afraid. Again, even if he does miss the game against Ajax, they can take Ajax without him. But I mean, UEFA want to see their money, which is why Cristiano Ronaldo should play. But I think he'll be fine. He'll be all right. He'll be back.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, just to say that you people in Lagos, you like fine things, or you like fine human beings. So do you know we've jumped about 100% since I said, oh, someone gave the comment and talked about you. Well, we have, we'll take some comments. We'll take some more comments before we go on that break. So I'll go to Twitter for this one. Twitter, Locker Room 981. Women have found a new gem in Paul Onuachu, so full of confidence and sublime touches. But Gernot Raw cuts across to me as a stubborn man. He already has his first 11 and sticks to it and doesn't like making subs because he only trusts a few. And that's from Nathan Njoku. Manchester is red at Rhino Remy 23 says, what a way to introduce yourself. Referee blow few. Onuachu just boom. Off the net. Second fastest goal in international football. Letter to Raw. Why invite home-based player when you know you won't use them? So that's a good question. Now,
Fulfill all righteousness.
Kule from Lekki here is asking you, Tega. Good morning, guys. Enjoying the program. Always on point. Thank you very much. Now, Tega, kindly compare Gerald Pique and
Van Dijk.
I see an interesting rivalry developing.
Oh, I can't compare both. They're two totally different players. If you ask me, Gerard Piqué has more finesse every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But what Van Dijk has is the athleticism that Gerard Piqué may wish sometimes that he does have, because there are games that he's found wanting. So I'd say, yeah, if you have any day, I'd pick Gerard Piqué over Van Dijk. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Lagos, let's go on a quick break. When we get back, it'll be the final stretch right here on the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1.
You want to take the stories? Because we have a lot of comments.
No.
that.
Take one more
So
story.
we'll take this one.
Which one
from
story is
England.
that?
Is the England?
Yes,
racism
it's
one.
important.
The
Racism one.
I watched. Are you going to talk about their match as well?
Ooh, the
England,
5-0. The match is of no consequence. They're going to beat Montenegro. The question is their racism.
No, but
But
you
it
know
is
what
true, actually.
fascinated
It is
me
true.
though? Immediately after Montenegro scored, the way England came back and gave them two, almost.
No, that one was just, you know how you want to run with your younger brother. You say start running first. Yeah.
It was so interesting.
I do it to my nephew all the time. I'll be like, say on your mat, he'll be moving. Ready, go! Tiki.
God.
With his tiny legs. When he reaches like 50 meters, I'll now overtake him. That's what England did to
Yeah,
Montenegro.
you see, Jibril Emmanuel says, when I heard that Tega is beautiful, I jumped on YouTube and subscribed to verify she's beautiful. Crochet. Honestly, Tega, we jumped from about 6 to 22 watching. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
All the time. So
Tega
watching.
is-
You people.
Guys,
Tega, please. We didn't know that was all it took. We'll be saying it every Monday,
Yes,
every
ma'am.
morning,
Guys.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I cannot believe
on a bad
they've
heading.
increased to 25. Tega, this is what you're doing. Oh.
Ayo,
That was
it's
not
your
that
doing.
freshly pressed now.
Ayo, is you're doing, you're marketing so much. Yeah, stop marketing.
Emmanuel Benson, so Emmanuel and Benson, so two different people. I am collecting officially on behalf of Tega. So I have her number exclusively. If you want any information, background, I'll help you out. This
See,
is all
pimp.
for Smooth
So you are pimping me out in this place.
anything for the station. We're loyal like that. As long as you keep the fans
I can't
happy,
do this.
we're good.
I have to sue. She's objective. I beg, leave me. 2019 English objectifying me.
Object. You see, Oluwama Iwakiola says, I came here to see just how beautiful Tega is. Confirmed. I told you, all of them just came to
Shout out
log
to
on
you,
to
Myra.
YouTube. Honestly, like I didn't know, I didn't know it was so
You
easy.
guys, come on.
Tega, please just
I should my hair. Did they pay
and,
for it?
and it's all
Well,
her
maybe you should give
hair.
us a spin. Give them a
Exactly. Yeah, spin
spin. Give
around.
them a spin.
Wait, put music. I'm about to give them a strip. Just put music.
Tega, they're not calling. They never call. Benson Akingure says, no, I'm married, but whoever marries Tega will always be happy.
Oh,
I'm
see,
Benson,
that's a
I'm
smart
back.
man. That's a very smart man.
We like
Thank
a bit
you.
more Benson for that.
Tell them,
Thank
tell
you
them,
very
tell
much.
them.
Thank you.
Tell them.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll just say, Kayode, how many? Please read our story
It's
now.
not me.
Is it-
It's marketing.
The next story, who's got the next story? Is it me or you?
Just
You
read
do.
the just
You
read
have
the
it.
racism part, then I'll
Okay,
take it from
okay,
there.
So I'll just do, I'll just read the first paragraph.
First two
tonight.
paragraphs.
Or two.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mike's up. That's all about. Well, a little less conversation, a little more action. Welcome back. This is the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1.
Thank you very much, Kayode. And we're here with Tega. And Tega seems to be the sensation of this morning, not even the sports stories. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go onto our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Honestly, the messages are pouring in as people are telling Tega just how,
I don't think I've seen
Read
this
the
many
stories.
messages.
Locker room.
Okay, sorry, Tega, but honestly, it's just interesting. But John Barnes reacts to racist abuse aimed at England players. John Barnes says criticism of Montenegro's fans for racially abusing England players is hypocritical, with discrimination still rife throughout football in the UK. He says it does not feel any different to how he felt when Raheem Sterling was racially abused by Chelsea fans.
Bam. Look, I like this John Barnes sometimes. He's always spot on. That's not to say that the Montenegro fans should be let off the hook. But what it is, the way the English media have taken this thing to another level, like, oh, the racism, like they don't do it in England. Like he's saying, take out the log from your own eye before we go and start taking out the bean seed from Montenegro's eyes. We're not saying that what Montenegro did was right, racially abusing Kyle Walker and Raheem Sterling. He's not saying that. He's saying that, but you can criticize them, but even in their home in England, they get racially abused by fans. So you coming out to make it look like, oh my God, what are these people doing? It's just hypocritical. If we solve our own, then it's okay. We now have moral ground to stand on and start pointing fingers. But right now, we are guilty of the same thing that we are criticizing them for. That's all he's saying. It's not saying that the Montenegro fans should be let off the hook. Find them all you want. He wants stiff punishment, but it's also saying to the
It is
English
so
media,
truthful.
stop being hypocritical. Even the way you report, about black players versus white players, there's still racism involved. So don't shout too much because it's now another person that is in trouble. Just calm down. On another note, there are going to be many stories I was going to talk about. Morata scoring for Spain.
Finally.
Yes.
So people will be, so that you know that Morata is not a good player, doesn't go bad. If it's just some players function better in some systems more than in others. Morata scored brace yesterday. People should applaud the guy. He tried. And then Italy won 6-0. Now, the interesting thing about Italy's win is by the time they scored the second goal, Italy had scored 17 goals so far since the last qualifiers. And they were all scored by 17 different players.
17
goals, 17 different
I hope you're
players.
not right.
Sorry, 18 goals, 18 different players. Because
Wow.
even Quaglara's goal was,
That's a very unique team. Everybody's scoring.
Everybody's scoring. Or maybe they don't have one striker yet. So, yeah.
Well, that can be the case. Well, that's all we can take, Lagos, on the locker room. Thank you so much. We've got a few messages.
All right, now some Phil here says the Asaba camera setup was a disaster. I wonder what was on their minds when the place was constructed. When I saw the highlights of the match, I said, thank God I didn't watch the match because I would have been frustrated. Then we have Tosin here says, please Tega, how come you keep tabs with all the sports? Which time do you have to see everything? That's just my question. Keep up the good work, Tega. You are a role model for a lot of people. What a way to end the show. Thank you so much, Tega.
Thank you so much, Tega. You can find her up on social media at Tega Supreme and also LIS
International for her work with ladies in sports, and like we've mentioned, she's such an inspiration to so many women, so many men as well. So please follow her and support the good work that she's doing. But you can follow us as well on Smooth 981 FM and follow us for the good work we're doing.
Lagos, we'll see you in a few more minutes. Okay, that on Lagos Talks, we've got a special for you, so please stay close.